就是没造成一些年的简报的三节这个说这看多几个语言写不的，你说。
The consciousness that perceives the basic element, 197 on commentary.
Dela Kasore, Yendu the Rasanja Namji can come Tebe Tobashawa Tempatan. Kasa Shibi Tosu Teleshan to Mitoba Tempa.
So, and this has two parts. The first is the hearer and solitary realizer. The basic element is understood through faith in the hearer and solitary realizer, and the four kinds of persons do not perceive it differently.
Oh yeah. That didn't Yendu the Rasanja Tebe Tobachawa Tempa Tela. Ngande dan Zawa City, Wangande Sena, and a Zawa go Kong, not a share about the Zewa. Tayage, Zosanguni Trojita, Tishini made a set fagety injury. Ngande Dang, and the Zawas, Tambula, Semjan Tamja, come to each of Nimbojin to Tempa, Lundan Java, Tenshabao.
So in the hearer and solitary realizer, the basic element is understood through faith, and this has two parts linked to the previous sections, and that refers to verse 27, that perfect Buddhahood is all pervasive, as suchness is undifferentiable, like that particular verse 27, and then the root text and the link to previous sections, teaching that all sentient beings possess Tathagata essence, and the application to scripture, and then the third meaning.
Oh yeah, that day, Nimbo did what she Nimbo Tiang, come the other she Nimbo Tiang, Tamji, Semjan Tamjela, the Chapra may be true to you, but Shechawan, Tower Chadi, Strawak, can't hammer Chashana, didn't take. Nini te kwana shindu yinji shendu ni mayino si kana samjian tamje la chabara meba ani tsudu kamya yoare siyate sungore ram.
So, and teaching that all sentient beings possess Tathagata essence without any kind of difference. The Tathagata essence exists undifferentiated in all beings at all times. This is to be examined. What is its validation? Reality in the sense of it existing this way and in no other way is its validation.
No, that day it somebody was a tea sungu medrosang do.
So how can this essence be described?
Semjan Tamjela, Cabe, come the worship in Nimbo, Semjira, Sawadi, Semjan Tamjela, Cabe, and Chawatar Jachawa, Cabe, Shugudar Jachawa, says Ron.
So, because it pervades all beings, like this clear-light nature of the mind, because it pervades all beings, it is vast like the Dharmakaya.
인상 여기 다야게 도den가 수조상군이 초지다 시외 땜바당
And this is taught by the root text line that perfect Buddhagaya is all-embracing or all-pervasive. Verse 27, that one.
아니 티시시비 라신당 섬전지 섬전도 니우디 오라 라신 용어 예매바 인산 티시시비 라신체.
And because the perfect Buddha body emanates in terms of its nature, it possesses the characteristic of being indivisible from the nature of the Tathagata. So, and semdembe tongwata kare.
semjengi semji semden dongtedang anesa tishishi chugu.
So sentient being's mind, which is empty of true existence, and the Tathagata of the Dhammakaya of the Tathagata is indivisible.
인상 디시 원유권의 예매비 천이대 디시니의 매체탕 세대 조상군이 초제다 디시니의 매체탕.
So this is taught by the root text line. Suchness is indivisible. That the nature of these two, the sentient mind, empty of true existence, the Dhammakaya of the Tathagata, in their nature, then indivisible.
오 시외 때마다 되면서 왔네왜 내위리지 라신내리 예치나 예위치나 진짜 티치나 류쟁공 안에서 가서를 티시시비 임보자래 류쟁구 류지분이 니네 시에대 심전지 심라신지 돈비 티신시에베 사두 주바당 티신시에바 마션베 티신시에바의 사두 주바당 심지어 라신지 돈바데 티신시에바 그 사두 주바야 말이 티신시바 마션베 너바 줘야 말이 다고 제 마저 가로 양 뒤따도 내와래
So because it unquestionably exists, it is a definitive lineage. This is taught by the root text line beginning with and therefore all embodied beings have the lineage. That's the last line of the verse 27, that one. And so the application to scripture, this citation, son of the family, the emptiness that is the nature of the mind, nature of the minds of sentient beings is not something newly established by the Tathagata, which disappears when he is no longer in the world. It is something that has always existed. So this basic element is not dependent upon a Buddha, descending in this world, or or not descending in the world. So it always exists.
Oh, that 농단자가디 지게도 리지부데데 섬전지 섬라시 동바 티시셰베 사도 주바다 티시셰와 마셰베 도바 마인지 뒤다도 내버래 세디 농단자에체.
So this is the application, the stanza in application to scripture.
다 지니심바 뒤전샤바니 천이지르바 강인바지 천이레스 토마 메바네 아니 섬라신지 여서와 여바디 천이레 이고 레 천이지르바 강인바 되니 니리 윤장 강기 아니 섬전지 신 라신이 동바테 대답고 코나 규지 토마 메바네 아니 여서와 대답고 코나 규지 텔레션도 민주로
Here, in the logic of reality, the emptiness nature of the minds of sentient beings is like this only, and not change to anything else. The clear-like nature of the mind is something that which has existed since beginningless time. To perceive this by valid cognition. 준전 관계 섬전지 섬라시 동바 태다고
Kwana Juji Television Meru Xie Chawa. That's some Rashi Dobi Tamani Duji Ribatang, Jowadang, Tati, and it had a good turn do any. And it Tamjadu something ever Doba. Neru Dana Bev, Severashi, Mebadana Bevsing.
To perceive this, to perceive this, which is the empty nature of the mind, of sentiments, empty nature of the mind. To perceive this by valid cognition is the logic, yoga, and method of its establishment. In brief, this means to definitively perceive the mind, which refers to the logic that searches for and ascertains its actual state, to truly know the mind, which refers to such ascertainment. This is the understanding of the reality and the logic of reality.
That dog will report Tamji, and it talks to Zoe Suji, and he shared up Samba Mishawa. Raw, Shanjin Drala Tenajang, and then number Tabar Mishawo. Haba Mewa, Bashidu Sados, Mewa Chawan, Bashidu Sado, Chuni report, dog will report and Jitom that some Tugumares, Rangi shared up Samba Mares. Shenji Drala Denaya number Tabra Macha Tabacha Mares. Da Caso Haba Meva Bashi Mevarichova Bashi to settles. Mevazam Bashi to settles. That didn't know she seemed to Madon what is the rest of
to truly know the mind, which refers to such estimate, this is the understanding of reality and logic of reality. This is not to be contemplated by one's wisdom that holds mere reliance upon dialectics as a complete understanding. This is not to be mentally constructed by relying upon the words of others. It is solely by devotion. It is solely by explaining how it is not realized, not by conceptual reasoning, not by mental constructions, so forth like that.
Oh, da du nian ba sha bi cu ji, sang jian yang ji ge cu ji ju yu no, se ga na tu la de me dang bi cu ji, nian ba sha bi cu ji.
Perception by constant meditative placement is only within the scope of the Buddha. So realization through equipoise is only that which is known by the Buddha. So, to stay in equipoise, focusing on reality all of the time, for all times, is something which is the experience of only an Arya Buddha.
Chuni di dadu nyamba shabi tsuji sanja bashi ku ngusum ju res di re wara mado chuni tendam denpa di tishin shibi lung bashi la tena toba chawa yinwa shi serwa di sanja ki dambi namsha lebar kondu machu bare.
On this point, some say that this ultimate truth reality is therefore understood only by relying upon the words of the Buddha, words of the Tathagata, and this is wrong because how you know ultimate truth reality is only through generating a constant meditative placement, a constant equipoise in reality, and that is something that is known only by the exalted knower of an Arya Buddha. And to say something like this, such an assertion shows no understanding of the presentation of the Buddha's teachings.
下见呢国主当信徒国主，下见这个呢的了，下见呢什么玩意嘛的，是吧？通往文主，俺的军事国主，俺的信徒国主是个的，下见呢什么钱？
So to say that you can understand ultimate reality only by relying on the words of the Tathagata means that you have no understanding of the presentation of Buddhist teachings, particularly with regards to objects of knowledge, that are hidden and very hidden phenomena. You have three types of objects of knowledge. The manifest phenomena that can be seen and is slightly hidden and very hidden phenomena.
你讲，下些年我什么说的？当我让做军政康过没过吧？啊你，我让给我什么就有的去还听着了，我就是习惯的，是吧？军政了带两年没过吧？日本洋大，军政去了带两年吧没过吧？啊你他。是说，军政了嘛对吧？那我什么的人间给下家的啦，下家我什么是个我就是习惯的啊。
Directly perceived objects of knowledge are those objects of knowledge that does not require any kind of support of reasonings to know it, that you can sort of directly perceive.
但是呢。就是国主谁呢？啊你，我什么的军政了嘛对吧？啊你也没去讲，军政养大，啊你他说的日本养大起来带领我个，但没大把参谋党，啊你他说东北你来说话，他等把西的采取去做，日本养大带领我个就做了，他就是国主习惯的。
So, and what are objects of knowledge that are slightly hidden? To know those objects of knowledge that are slightly hidden, then one has to rely upon some form of reasoning, some form of correct reasoning. For example, subtle impermanence, or emptiness, the various attributes of the Four Noble Truths. All of those have to be known by relying upon some form of, perfect forms of correct forms of reasoning.
现在，他说的龙把戏来带呢，龙给怎么带起龙来带呢？俺那多光干的了，俺那下下心都搞就是个的。
And those objects of knowledge that can only be known by relying upon the scriptural authority. Scriptural citation Buddha quotes from the Buddhist scriptures. Those phenomena that can only be known in such a manner are regarded as the very hidden phenomena.
现在去年听他们电把提醒些为龙把戏来带来多个位呢，俺你去年听他电把的军事国主的，俺你龙把戏来带来多个带来你许多国主英国的，现在国主的许多国主给。多数个人吧，拉说话是把马戏比俺那么就来这种人吧。
So, to say that the ultimate truth reality has to be understood by relying upon the words of the Tathagata is a contradiction, because ultimate truth reality is slightly hidden phenomena. It does not fall into the category of a phenomena which is regarded as the very hidden phenomena. So even to say that means that you can't even differentiate between these between these two types of phenomena.
他这的确他说的。他这呢，那么就得来写，他你话的对应不着，是吧？我这他早晚是一个人，早晚听不着，是吧？早晚听了，你话了早晚咱知道我，他把这的那个 ranju namji tendam de tabani ji tocha yin set male usari right ranju namji tabade tete ranju namji tendam de tabani ji tocha yin nimi jungo ye baba meme bane tomanju sede tawati.
So then the root text is the ultimate essence of self-arisen Buddhas, spontaneous and uncompounded, is to be realized through just faith by common beings, hearers, solitary realizers, and bodhisattvas who have newly entered their vehicle and is not realized by them just as it is. For example, the blazing light of the disk of the sun is not seen by the eyeless.
What did you? Sibatamisi, Lubin Shanla Madaba, and the Sibatama Sirigana Dando, Gindese, the cigarette. Some young Rangi Chanju on the Chebala, and the Sibatama, Chanju Tela de Sibatama Tela. These are any Chanju on the Cheba, the Lubin Shanla Madamba. I ran you on but over Sanjava, Ranjun Sanja Namji. Any turned on Barashi Tombate, Sanja, and oh, Chin, Rashi Tombate, any Yande Dang, Ran Sanja Dang, Sosojo Kachitang, any Tibala Satu Shu and Nam Shubi, Kansa Kachiki. Tabasina, Mematam Topacha, my Basura, Tabajan, Tabajan Tabani Topacha, Yindi, any repeated to drive on a Topacha, Mari, Church drive on a Topacha, Mari, said Della. Or did it, Ranjunam, Tendam, Tabani, Tocha Yin, said the thing, said
when we the natural emptiness or the ultimate truth of the self-arisen to be understood through faith and not through reasoning by hearers as solitary realizers, as ordinary beings, and by some beings who have newly entered the path. Self-arisen refers to Buddhas who attained perfect enlightenment in their last lives as bodhisattvas without relying upon other masters. So this phase refers to the last continuum as an ordinary sentient being, last continuum prior to the attainment of the enlightenment.
Tabanji Tocha is a tentative subject and the data to Remendu. Come to watch you can share by the Yandu Rasa Rasanjan, Tabanji Topachawa, Tamba said that didn't Tagaranda. They check. That is Omatela. Imagine go here, Baba, Mime Bani, Miton Dar. Miton said. Mime Bani, Tom Min said that Zawati Unkutu.
And then the last part of the stanza, which is, for example, the blazing light of the disk of the sun is not seen by the eyeless.
Oh, Nimijungo Yabawa Yam, Mime Bani, Tom Mebatar, Konju Sheba Kasa Shiboti. She will make Chavatamji Sutomata, Rawando Toba Chame between Yinjis. Rawando Toba make Chavatamji Sutomana, Rawando Toba Chama between Yinji, Kajiki, Sixty Chusujaba, Changama, Tiba Chimbi, Janamji, Tendam Demba, Lundamji, Jesu Jana Toba Chavatan. Teacher Amatikil. Chichima teacher Ching, Chichime. Kansa Shivo Namji Denama Dobi Tendu Chabade, Midaba water shaking soon.
The explanation, the sun may shine, but those without eyes will not see it. Similarly, this reality is not something to be readily seen by the four kinds of beings in the same way as they would be seen, as the same way as they would see form by simply opening their eyes. Some explain the first half of this verse as meaning that those of Mahayana lineage also perceive the ultimate truth merely through following scripture, and the second half as meaning that the four types of being never perceive it. This is wrong, as will be shown later.
Oh yeah, that is our Jawatela. Doten Jason Yumilan, Dana Dotentela. Niwa Tambola Titan Luna Java, Dotambatela. Luna Java Tela, Tambon Dotunasi, Luna Java Tela. Some then the Tera Guinea, Tenny Sosa Joni, Dadan Takiwa, Umba Sheba, Tomanji Ten Kondo, Machuba Mase. That's also Jibo. Rando, Imba, Rava, Machuba Mase. Rejesum Lamla Shula, Lamla Yang, Much Mashuba Namso. Yendi Regenda. Ransanje Rigenda, Tijan Lamla Mashuba, and then some Tombani Kondo Mashuba or Machuba chat, Dick chat. Dini, Tishindu Yende, Ransanje Jang, Mita Juju, Rapatamsi Kondo Chijing, Chamamatoba Namdang. That Dilla, and the
So the commentary has a brief explanation and the expanded explanation. The brief explanation has the root text and the application to the scripture. And with the application to the scripture, it is this is from the text, the Srimala Devi Sutra, and begins Bhagavan, the Tathagata, etc., etc. The ordinary beings include not only those who cling to self and mind, who do not understand subtle emptiness, but also those who have not actually entered the paths of the three lineages. Similarly, the hearers and solitary realizers have merely understood the 16 coarse aspects of the four truths, but they have not understood the subtle no self.
Denzin, Nimosa Deba, and it Tanjuarava. Denzin, Nimosa Mudeba, and it Denzin Shiru to Deba. Taking Teda Umra Takarasana, Tanjua Measure Ranjubaki. What taking in down, that is a Kansak Danzi Rapa. Kansaranja to be told to Batella, Kansak Danzi Rapa check. So
with regards to who have solitary realizers who have merely understood 16 coarse aspects of the four truths. What are like coarse aspects of the four truths? Like in the case of the Prasanga system, then you have grasping a true existence as being an obscuration of affliction, but the Swatantra Madhyamikans and the schools below it then designate grasping a true existence as an obstruction to omniscience. So grasping at a substantially and self-sufficiently existent as self of a person is regarded as the coarse form of grasping at the self of a person, and then grasping at the intrinsically existing person. grasping at a person existing by way of its own nature as being the subtle kind.
리장 다 가사 라제 투비 자유도 주와지 비sem바 디기 왕기 레사 레티 왕기 아니 동아 템바 투비 sem바 어디 주주기 대시 조단지 다 양지바 매제가 줘야 돼 대시 주주 사바지
So,
데라 고람이라야 아니 가사가 단지 라바 점제기 람데 데라 가사 라제 투비 동바 무슨도 투비 시 데라 때네 아니 가사 라제 투비 저도 전바 말을 받고 딱 너데 아니 뒤구나가 차다 무슨 또네 아니 과대 투비 좀 받지 독시와래 어 데라 아라베디시미사 주루 그스과래
So, due to this coarse form of the grasping at the self of a person who is substantially, self-sufficiently existent, due to this kind of coarse form of grasping, you accumulate the karma, and in this way you have the explanation of these, you accumulate the karma, and as a result of the karma, you have true suffering and so forth. So this is this coarse form of the 16 attributes of the Four Noble Truths, and then for the cessation and path of cessation. For this, then what one needs to negate is this coarse form of grasping at the self of a person being substantially and self-sufficiently existent. So for that, then generating the wisdom that realizes the emptiness of such a person existing substantially and self-sufficiently. So by generating this wisdom, then you sort of eradicate that ignorance that generates the karma and so forth, those the true suffering and the respective 18 coarse forms of these Four Noble Truths. So when you cease that ignorance, then you no longer have the desire, the anger, or the ignorance that arises out of that.
Oh yeah, didn't that? Tell you that Madwan, Tibala Sadu Shiva, Chanju Samba, Tambani, Chamitan, Kondo Majuba, Shinto Sadis. That teaching Tibasum Tibala Sadu Shuaki, Ania, Toma Matova, Tony Matova Tiang, Yabadi, Kondo, Chamito, Kondo Majuba, Shinto Sadu, all the Shabakuro.
And bodhisattvas who have newly entered the path also do not perceive subtle emptiness, which is made very clear later on.
That Tetabi, Yandeta Rasanjani, Rasanjani Regent, that's also Jobore. So Jibi Tishini, Madon, Damba, Stambi Chiri. Neran soso jibi tishini madoba tembi chiri, nende pabe jang chinyungusundu madoba temba yinwa shena.
It may be wondered, these particular beings of hero and solitary realizer lineage are ordinary beings, and it has already been explained that ordinary beings do not perceive the Tathagata essence. Therefore, isn't it being taught here that hero and solitary realizer Aryas also do not directly perceive suchness?
Tatela, Wana Tiba Jagi, Chanju Samba Shadigana, Tibala Sadu Mishuvi, Chanju Sembe Jang, Madova Losa Mewate, Temevata, and Sosu Tang, Tibala Sadu Shuvi, Chanju Samba, the Sosu Yinzang, and the Temevata, Generate.
Well, in that case, that would be no point in singling out bodhisattvas who have newly entered the path as examples of those who have not perceived it, because they too are ordinary beings.
That day, Kasore, Yandita Ranja Gilamla Shua Layang, Thomas Turaton, Samotombani, Matova Yabata. Ani Tibala Tichena Sasu Shua Layang. Samotombanya Madoba Yoba. Yoba Yinzang, Tishi, Nimbo Jota, Tishi, Kasa, Shu, Di, Madoba, Chiri, Denjing, 소소 교고 타다가 마도가 담바 인제나 미대디 소 타다가 담바 말했다 대다디 티발라사도 쇼와당 년대니라 왕도 가시라 안에 사모동바니 마도가 와래 와 왕도라 찬주선발에 왕도라 찬주그 셈게바당 동바니 가능해라 개와래서나 왕도라 조회 찬주그 셈게라 개니 동바니 제를 떠와 요와 인상 어티발라사도 제와들라 돈이 마도가 요아래 냐랑래 테나시 요아래
So there are hearers and solitary realizers who have entered the path but have not realized the emptiness, and you have also those who have entered the minor path and who have not they may have newly entered these paths but have not realized the profound emptiness, and so therefore and therefore do not perceive that Tathagata essence suchness. The above is teaching that generally these four types of beings do not perceive Tathagata essence suchness devoid of elaboration. It is not saying that every ordinary being does not perceive it, because there are ordinary beings that perfectly understand emptiness. So in the case of bodhisattvas, then you have some bodhisattvas of lower intelligence or lower capacity who first generate the realization of bodhicitta, and then later on generate realization of that profound emptiness. And then you have bodhisattvas of higher capacity intelligence who first generate the realization of emptiness, and later on generate the realization of the bodhicitta.
oi 다양 무슨도 마도바 담바 담바 있잖아요. 매네 무슨도 마도바 담바 되네 아니 대담에 와 있잖아요. 아니 지금 말에 대가래선 태이나 티바라사도 쉬와세기 캐바메와데 태와 말이 티바라사도 마셔고 말이 무슨도 마도바 티바라사도 쉬와 마임바 사도 쉬우시니 잘람바던지 안토니 무슨도 도메와 인장 되메디 티비람도 쉬우네장 가유파도 콤바르체위 잘람 서바당 천조라 내위 자주선바 소제장 도니 무슨도 마도비실
If not perceiving meant not directly perceiving, then there would be no point in the qualification newly entering the path. Because having entered the Mahayana path, the bodhisattvas who practice for many great eons to reach the forbearance and supreme Dharma stages of the path of preparation is an ordinary being who has still not directly perceived emptiness.
다 그래서나 지신님이 처마다 제위 대님마도베 가사 수가 간데 좋아래서나.
So who are those beings who do not perceive the suchness of the Tathagata essence with defilement?
아니 이렇게 숨제 가사 캐바와 스나 다 아무도 숨샤산 지구지라 아무도 대답이 아니 대바잠지 통마 아니 다바트니 그로제 아니 대바잠지 아니 가서래 조회 상주의 섬제 이거와 인장 양다 대배 제상와 조회 상주 섬제네 투비 두슈 라제제 되니 양다写作 전전이 시와저고 우마겐게 나라 송도와 양다 대배 제상와 세가라 대배 제상 왕도 대배 제상기 토마 chanju chu semje gre yanda sebe jandang zoe chanju semje ne tene tubi dushu lang jade ne lan ba yanda ba zoe chanju semje tjeje lam du shu ne ani chini denje bomni je jani kana ani dam be ya ide dawa chogu are tubi dushu lang jane teni yanda xie zo zhen si yanda be dawa zo ani doba la ani junji che dawa chogu re cheni yinzang da tenaji 년대당 랑자니라양 아무도 대박이 토마 라랑 그 타바티니 그 로디키 Jamaman Bache. Teach so any don't you do what Jashan to you that.
So, who are those? And they should be understood as beings of the three lineages, without, who don't have much capacity or mental intellect, qualified as above, plus some other ordinary beings. How do they engage in the path is by through the force of the faith. If the commentary here teaching that the hero and solitary realized Iris did not perceive suchness at all, this would contradict understanding through faith as explained above. So as Shantirishita has stated within the ornament of the Madhyamika, that they first, for those on the minor path, then they first generate the thought of bodhicitta, and this thought of bodhicitta is brought on by the strength of their faith. Due to their faith and devotion, then they seek out liberation, and and those on the mind path then first out of faith generate bodhicitta, and bodhicitta that seeks to attain the perfect and complete state of enlightenment, and with that commitment then seeks to examine whether this ignorance grasping a true existence is removable or not, and on the basis of this investigation then apply themselves to the process of realizing selflessness, and then the same goes for the hearers and solitary realizers. It is due to the strength of their faith and devotion that they first generate the thought to seek liberation.
Oh yeah, that did Yaram Papa Chuni Junsa Jamato, but Dena, Tabatoba Shaba, Chuni Junsa Jamato, but then Shangina, and the Dikas of Tabatoba Shaba Tadakaki.
If the commentary were teaching that hero and solitary Aryas do not perceive suchness at all, this would contradict understanding through faith.
That did Java Shadikana, Jadam Minda Des Minda Songtu, Java Shabadella, Kasa Shivoda, Jizola Tawal Hung and Matoba Temba, Chijilola Umbaka and Matoba Temba, Tombanila 7 and Matoba Temba. So in the expanded explanation, then it says these four persons, not perceiving suchness because of the views on the transient collection, and not perceiving suchness because of taking pleasure in erroneous ways, and these four persons not perceiving suchness because of the mind being distracted from emptiness is another way of explaining why not perceiving the suchness. That is kind of so do Sena. Tizola Tawa, then to Shiva. Dame Kondo Machuching, Dame Bako, Mato Kondo Machuching. Nadan Dagiwala, Demaramba Shebes, Aneka Kasatan. Ane Kasaki Lon Jaja, Dagiwa, Mitan Zula Sowa, Mixola, Sowala, Demaramba Shebe, Tizola Tawa, Ranshiji, Gaba, Saba maybe in turned up Tawa Miniba Tati, the Saba is a Madison. Saba turned up a Saba Miniba is a Madi, Tawa Miniba Tati said it, some do.
So, not perceiving suchness because of views on transient collection, this begins those fallen into views on the transient collection, meaning those that have not realized selflessness, those that hold on to the person, I, or mine as being truly existence. That they do not understand no self, with no understanding and clinging to self and mind as real. Such a view on transient collection is unable to achieve in the ultimate truth, that is natural cessation of the non-afflicted sphere.
Oh yeah. Rashi Gaba Saba Mitenda Mitambala and let Tava Miniba Tadi Shesa. Tishishi Nimbola Tatunya Bashabadi, Larmidam, Titunya Bashabadi, Tamdishaba Bashik Chechere.
So, unable to believe in the ultimate truth that is natural cessation of the non-afflicted sphere, constant meditative placement on Tathagata essence is a characteristic only of the omniscient mind.
다 친지로라 엄마시 수바라 친지로라 아니 가서래 엄마가 마도바 땜바텔라 친지로도 주비 퇴샤바당 대나 디신샤바 대나 디신이 또발에 치료도 주와당 퇴퇴니 주바 전에 숨는 것도
And then not perceiving suchness because of taking pleasure in erroneous ways is first point. The meaning of what erroneous ways is, how this puts one outside the perception of suchness and the establishment of it.
다 대라 돈이라 친지 대라 친지로라 엄마 가와니 사모 돈바니 그 턴라 레시 민민시 콘도 마치바 다란지바 맨체 샤쇼그로와 년도다 라산제 괜찮다 산다 년도다 라산제 괜찮야 다시 돈이 마도 같은 용요와 어떤지 막 샤쇼거래.
So taking pleasure in erroneous ways refers to those of hero and soul to realize a lineage who for the time being have no inclination for emptiness and do not understand it. So all of those below the Swatantrika school of thought.
뭐 대라더니 가서래 된대년도다 라사 이르잔 달라 아니 지신이 또 받아 치료도 주와 친지 가서래 치료도 주 친지로도 집이 세야데 가르치 거래서나 저거 준전의 가르래서나 이르잔 달라 저디 준전 지치체나 디다를 세대 지신시위 님보 아랑신지 타바 랑신지 저와단 차와 아니 디신이 이 차바지시 콩도 취네 아니 콩도 시 콩도 취네 대다바 공바당 관세를 콩도 취네 대다 다바 공바당 공발당 다바 공바당 늘 배제 되어이나 대라 돈에 미다바 공바당 是吧？没大把光巴当，电巴当大都当，他电巴当大当脏光巴了当呢，或者他看这些呢，七级老师的看这些是呢，提醒你不知道提醒你前把去洗空的去呢，但铁他给看这些是呢，没大把了大把光巴当，没上完了脏光巴当。 다도 맞주바라 다도 좀 공바당 다 대승구스만 저도 되나 콘도 치네 대 따바 공바당 따바 공바텔라 다냐 미다바 공바당 덴바당 다당 장어 공바래 도대 아니 덴바 인사 말이 대화당 인사리 인사 덴바 인사 말이서 대화당 동아지 로조 대화당 다당 장어 공부를 도대 대화를 도바 동아 다도 출발을 도바 다매바 장어 공부를 저 미사모 공부 된 미지 된저 말이 티시시위 님보 풍보라서 용 오타자기 내로 타도바 임비 된인 스타된데 티시시위 저자 티시니데 오테 아니 풍보라서 내로 타도바 임비 된이라 대송이살
So what meaning of the erroneous ways, the following commentary, why it is like this does not mean that having understood the suchness of the Tathagata essence, devoid of elaboration, they turn away from meditating on it as permanent bliss, self and purity, and meditate on it instead as impermanent suffering, as no self, and as impure. The Tathagata essence refers to the ultimate state of phenomena such as the aggregates but they take pleasure in meditating on the ultimate state of phenomena, such as the afflicted aggregates as impermanence, suffering, cause no self, and impure.
Yes, sir.
And the Dagrandos Machi Losha.
Dembas to get. There were injured.
There were. There was.
There were days that Nimbutin, the Chapa decision of Kondo Chine, Taba Combatant, Telan Dodem, Midabatan, that Devatan, and a Datan, Zhao Gombada Dode, that Dungadan, Damebatan, Mizawa Combitum, my G's. What that day she, Dembashi Combitum Maris. The Shishi Nimboni Pumbola so young one am Nelu Tatu in Bitaris. Oh. Pumbola so Nelu Tatu, that Nelu Tatuma, you look tattoo in between years. Sajaji Pumbola so you know tattoo de, and in Mitabatan, Dungawatan, and let Rapidame Bataranshivana, Rapidame Batan, Mizamala, I am Mizamala, Tao Gombala so a Cheji. To put the Sajay Pumbola meditate into Nandavatan, Devata, Tawatan, and Tabatan, Devata, Tawan, do message to combat Michela. What is the Sajay Pumbo? Sajay Pumbo, Mita Dunga, and then Dameba, Gomachigres, Tabatan, Devata, Tawatan, do message, and you combat Michels.
So, the Tathagata the essence refers to the ultimate state of phenomena, such as the aggregates, but they take pleasure in meditating on the ultimate state of phenomena, such as the afflicted aggregates as impermanence, suffering, cause no self, and impure. They do not recognize and do not meditate on it as permanent, as bliss, and as self, and as purity.
Now, that's all.
Tandaging Tilov Dharma Losha.
Now,
Losha.
Tabatan, Devata, Tang, do message, combat Michela, tell a mamebe, Quande Yamni to do, Quadan, Rashi, Deva, Randan, you would Yamni to do a tattoo, but tattoo, La Yamba maybe. Tell a mammy bears, or that in the tell mammy bear, Conde Yamba you do, Toba Tatune, Larry Yamba maybe, any Tisha about the Tabi Padu Chimbata. Draw Conde Yamni, Ransin Yamba you do Toba in the Tabi Padu Chimbata.
So, because they have no inclination for this meditation, they do not strive for the full perfections, nor do they take any pleasure in meditating on the methods to attain them. The four perfections are the perfection of permanence, which refers to reaching and never falling back from the ultimate perception of the equality of samsara, and nirvana is the perfection of the perfection of permanence, when one has that ultimate perception of the equality of samsara and nirvana. This what was already explained before. And the perfection of bliss, which refers to the total abandonment of the mental body and its cause, the non-afflicted karma. And the perfection of highest self, which refers to the pacification of all elaboration of holding to self and holding to no self as truly existing. And the perfection of purity, which refers to the total abandonment of the ground or predispositions of ignorance. So, having no inclination for these meditations, and no striving for these perfections. So when we talk about this particular outline, these erroneous ways are, the meaning of erroneous ways is with regards to these points, not having the inclination for these meditations, nor to strive for these four perfections, is what is regarded as erroneous ways, as opposed to as opposed to thinking of the Tathagata essence devoid of elaboration as being, as meditating on it as being permanent bliss or self and purity, not or meditating upon the aggregates as impermanent and so suffering and so forth. Not, as opposed to these meditations, then erroneous ways here refers to having no inclination for these meditations or striving for these perfections.
Oh yeah, that's it. 치질로도 쉬 된산이 되나 디신진 또 발라 치료도 좋아 세대 다 남란디니 추구 터바단 가위 람 미다바담 담바 추와체 미다바 담바 추와 쯤바 소소 세대 디신이 또 발라 치료도 주디 디신이라 로바도디 디신이 랑시지 마주발라 랑시지 추와 증가데 아니 디신이 또 발라 치료도 좋아래 세대 말에.
So, and then the second outline, how this puts one outside the perception of suchness, such as holding impermanence as truly existence and so forth, that goes against the attaining of the Dhammakaya. Holding that which is, holding on to suchness as being, existent by way of its own nature.
Somebody 가로고 다 텐팅이 주바 세대 숨바 텐팅이 주바 세대 광도 샤바기다 치질로 집이 텐샤바디 텐팅이 주바텔라 참자다 농참바 제 담보텔라 니마 농참바텔라 빼다 텐이체
So then the third point, establishment, this has the link and the citation.
대한신은 누구 초와라 주비 된다디 가르에서는 지대니 가서 아니 가서를 누지 차와래 로네 아니 내루지 된 초와라 주비 배워.
And the citation has the example and the meaning of the example, and this begins as it's like this. Monks, for example, in the summer, said the placing of the jewel in the water and the search for it illustrates turning one's back on the busy affairs of the world and searching for the truth of all things.
아니 추나기 생마단 도루단 도단 생마라 소와 누부 원념도 점반이 아니 미다발라 따바 점바다.
And
아니 라비 칸사게 다가바 라비 칸사게 다가바 칸사게 다라바가바 아니 최탐제지 내루수 거의 배당 다 진짜 엄마들아.
And the example of thinking the gravel and the pebbles to be jewel, thinking to be jewel illustrates the mistaken perception that permanence and the negation of the cause self are true state of all things.
다 이 슈바 내루지ten 타투바 집에 빼야 대달라 이 슈바만도 대달라 이 슈바 내루지 된 타도 받지 베베레.
The intelligent person who finds the jewel illustrates the person who understands emptiness.
다 춘남도 때와나 누구 마이노 냠비 마이노 춘남도 때와나 누구 마이노 냠비 참바니 시동반이지 된 콘도 주바나 응알지 진바데 아니 치주로도 거의 배.
And the person, when one realizes that the jewel that one has found is not actually jewel, then then is to understand that whatever emptiness one thought one realized previously is not the real comprehension of emptiness.
아니 준비 최대한 너비 단자와 내바니 라비 칸사게 다가바 칸사가 다음에 라바가바 아니 최탐제지 내루수 거의 배당
근데스게
라비 칸사 아니 정비의 최대 정비의 최대 너비 단자와 나와대 아니 라비 칸사게 다가바데 아니 최남지 내루수 타도수 거의 배당
추남지 근데
정비 추라 정비 추태양 너비 단자와 나와
so when one thinks of the shimmering of the water to think of it as being the reflections, the radiance of the jewel, mistaking the shimmering of the water to be like the brilliance of the jewels. It's an example for negating the cause or selflessness, the cause self of a person, negating that. And the person who finding the jewel is to illustrate the one who understands the meaning of emptiness.
미다바다 동아와라 동아다 다음에 봐서 콤발렘 만도 체신 만도 체와 되니라 아니 따바당 대화당 장화당 다니 예바 이노 예 예바 시송데 니니 미다서 주주 도비 람 년제지 창조당 랑산제지 창조 토바지비 주민제지 람도 난조제바 시자와당 리바 주주의 대화나서 된다라 다들 가르래서나 장대다다시 그 로조 미다서 주루대 땜바대 이 미다 주루도비 또바대 년대지 창조다 랑산제 창조 토바를 제비 윤민시다 얘랑 그 창조원에와 토바라 미다 주루 차와서 또 거와라 얘라 미다서 주루라바대 때니 대도와라 때는 주민바 체네 타를 아니 차와 때니 아니 라랑 그 자주 토바 제바 인장 주민제도 담바도 아니 로면 파바리 시자와다 리바 주주 대와 숨바 단 텐자와레 소나르다
So meditating many times on impermanence and so forth, and yet within these is permanence, bliss, self and purity. The above is similar in meaning to the explanations found in the 60 reasons and commentary on the 400 verses of yogic deeds, which describe the perception of 16 aspects, impermanence and so forth, as the path that ripens the minds of the hearers and solitary realizers for their respective attainment of lesser vehicle enlightenment. However, here the teaching is clearly on the ripening of the minds for the attainment of the four perfections in order to establish one vehicle. So when when sort of realizing those 16 aspects of impermanence and so forth, first one has to generate the coarse form of the realization of these 16 aspects of impermanence and so forth. And based on this, then later you generate the realization of the subtle form of these 16 aspects of impermanence and so forth. It is on the basis of this latter, the subtle 16 aspects of impermanence and so forth, the realization of this, that one is able to that one is able to attain the enlightenment of the hero and solitary realizer.
Oh yeah, that's what they call it now. Sumbala ni chitambara soshaba said the subject call it now. Oh, the new one of some children shoot to Shaba. Teaching that you 20 teaching time.
This Sumba did it.
Ah,
Dompanilla.
Domanilla cousin.
Some young way,
Sukodo. Oh, that day in Bachi. That demand delegation. Chitamba so somebody. 동반이라 선남바 인마写的 티시시비 님비 라시 콘도 추발라 냥바타라 저도 선남바 인마라写的 다소소 대치단 받으셔.
So you have not perceiving suchness because of the mind being distracted from emptiness. This has the general and a specific explanation. The general explanation, this begins the mind distracted from emptiness, etc., and explains that this refers to the weakening of the understanding of natural emptiness, the Tathagata essence.
다들 이완이 장주조도 섬제바 이양 동반이 태어콘도 맞추네. 다다중에 지와인바. 장주조도 섬제바 인자 동반이 태어콘 맞추네. 년된대와 카지 대바달. 티바치모와 강다 되자라 소비 님몽바 담바이비 치니 여보 공부도지 뒤에 체지 시반양을 대서 세다 간제스나 동반이지 태어콘도 맞춰봐체 아니 년대 도대와 같이 기시 제가 뭐 좀다 년대기 아니 년대지 좀다 마와 자세니 년대 도대와 같이 대바다
These are those of the mind who have developed bodhicitta but do not understand emptiness and who say, like some of the hearers of Uttaratantra philosophy, that by meditating on antidotes to the truly existing reality of afflictions such as desire, their continuum is severed forever and destroyed.
Oh yeah,
and that is nirvana.
투바침보와 강다 대자자 소위 님몽바 덴바 유비 친이 대자라 소위 님몽바 덴바 유비 최전 대륙의 예비 친이 년부 공부도지 뒤 체진 시바 용서 양알을 대화고 단 년부 공부도지 아니 가서를 뒤 체진 시바의 양량 대화고 시我顶住我有啥都西比起他或者谁都西比起看啥个大面上比我顶住我有啥都西比起的是可能就对比起的看啥个大让白东比东吧东你就听到空的起比那么特别过对吧大家让嘛完了说的真的是过的是吧
So
这是今年是吧？我不顶住的电话去，是吧
？So in the case of these hearers Uttaratantra who assert, the true existence of external phenomena, then by meditating on antidotes to the truly existing reality of afflictions such as desire, their continuum is severed forever and destroyed, and that this is a nirvana. Therefore, phenomena are destroyed, meaning that phenomena previously truly existing are then destroyed. They assert this understanding of emptiness, which is a coarse emptiness of self, to be the gateway to liberation, emptiness.
Yeah. Dini Tang Tap Samadudine Shebi, Yandin Devi Tawa Tesambe. Tesamles, Samadudine Shebi, Yandin Devi Tawa, Raja to be Zayu Tavi, Tomba, Casa Raja to be Zayu Tombi, Dame Rapa Tesam Jitawa Tesam la Kondo Machibi, Ani Chanju Samba Kachitamba, Sikanata, Tony Madovaki, Casa Raja to be Zayu Tomba Dola, Casa Rashi Chuba Madovaki, Anita Caso Chanju Samba Kachitan, Yobatambare.
So this is referring to a type of the bodhisattva who has not understood anything beyond the views of the hero Uttaratantra philosophy as taught in the Abhidhammakosha root text and the commentary and the 7 treatises on valid cognition. So, referring to bodhisattvas, who have the realization of the emptiness of a self, of a person, empty of being substantially and self-sufficiently existent, emptiness of such a person, but bodhisattvas who have yet to realize the emptiness of being empty of nature, a person being empty, the empty person not existing by way of his own nature, who has yet to realize that, but who has realized the emptiness of a person existing substantially and self-sufficiently.
Yeah, Chaju Samba Chambo, Nanju Jabawa, Sena Samzabara, Nanju Jaba Samzaba Kanda. Neluji Tuan Kanshi, Sassam Tony Sende. Kanajila Segre, Sena Jibare, Tadujibi, Shake Toba Chawatang. Ani Tadujibi, Tony Lajibi, Shake Toba Chawatang. Gomba Chawa, Tony J. Chawa, that Tony the Kanajila Shogore, Tadujibi, Shake Toba Chavi, Chuni the Kanajila Shogore, Sena Churu Tenjin Divi, Sula Sowala, Tadabate, Star Sudan, Churu Tenji Troop, Sena Chiden Kapa Yinzang. Sudan Susunbi Chamani Wode, Zashan to Drumna, and the Chiro turned to Truba. The Guare. Yeza Sudan Susunbi Chamani Wode, Zashan to Matruba, Zatada Kitomba. Oh, Sula Sova Dedwa, Chiroji 20 Divi Sula Sova Le, Tataba de Tekabis. You Suwandang, Tetimbi, and Sunzing, Suda Susunbi Chama. Zataji Tombi, Mobote, Modamba Yoba, Tony Tian, then do the Guade.
So, there are also those bodhisattvas, great bodhisattvas of Yoga Charya Chittamatra views, who say that the reality to be perceived, the emptiness to be perceived by the analytical mind of ultimate death. So, that emptiness should be realized by such a mind of analytical mind of ultimate death, and the emptiness to be meditated on is a phenomenon separated from form and so forth. Here, form summarizes external phenomena, and separated from means refuted, and the phenomenon is a truly existing entity, that is the emptiness of there being any difference in substance between apprehended object and apprehending consciousness. So negating external existence, or negating that the apprehended form and the apprehended consciousness are empty of being other substance.
Oh yeah, Sudan Sudan Chamani with the Zashan, which Tony, Zaji Grace.
So, according to this view, then the apprehended form and the apprehending consciousness are of one substance.
That they can do is now. Susan got the Kaddish to go out is now.
So in this case, they assert emptiness as being truly existent.
심점바 과랑기 안에 파자고위시 구시남시 다 이지남시도 구시남시 대교아래 다 다와 구시남시와 구시 띵도 띵기 안에 파자 민발에 파자기 차지 아니 미기나바시 용어도 파자기 차지 민이 아니 치록수 중 어도고아래 일단 유당 아니 유전 시와니가 군시 띵기 파자지 민발라 전에 제와 인산 제치바래.
So according to the Chittamatran view, then how we perceive an external form is is due to the imprints that are borne by the foundational consciousness in the foundational consciousness that bears the imprint for that form. So from this imprint, part of it gives rise to our visual perception of the form, and part of this imprint gives rise to that external form. So in that way, the apprehending consciousness and the apprehended object are of one substance.
아니 탄주위로 시사 쳐봐 인장 아니 치로구수 왕시기 메견도 주비 치로구수 여바 되고 와래 인장다 단다 디니 티바침비 디라미 땡제 된다데 아니 넘버를 받잠 쓰나 치탐제 나 셈지 다니 잠도 추바다 넘버를 받잠 쓰야자 된 넘버를 받잠래 마데바 레버 까바레 So
this paragraph refutes those who maintain that the philosophy of the Mahayana Uttaratantra does not go beyond that of the Vijnavadin, that everything exists, all external phenomena exist in the nature of one's mind.
So
it negates this view.
다디니 엄마 차다 캐나 버려 주마다다 캐나 버쳐 ngaji 그 다자 니기 탈홍아 시와 차고 그정 엄마 니가 체 다디니 시와 셈지랑신 뭐송아라 세드레샤다.
Then the fourth point, identifying the nature of the basic element.
다 셈지랑신 뭐송아 다시 이야기 subject 가상 다시 subject 좋아 오 되게 단테래 감도지 그 유전 샤바
So this is part of the outline, the consciousness that perceives the basic element.
Oh, that is Tela Tombani Tsudu, Jabala, semi yu Mayimba, Tishishi, Nimbo Kanshana, semi ing Mati, True Yuja Mayimba. Or Muja Mayimba, some true Yuja Mayimba, and Tishishi, Nimbo the Kanshana. That's how you are that. Niwala E. Zawatang. Tombani Mursuna, semi yu Mayimba Shaba.
So this begins with the question, what is the statika, the essence, which is spoken of as emptiness and which is not the object of a distracted mind? So the answer is in the root text, and having identified emptiness, explaining how it is not the object of a distracted mind. So the root text has the actual meaning and the establishment. The root text is 155, which is this basic constituent of pure nature has no previously existing faults of afflictive emotions to be removed, and not the least factor of good qualities to be newly established.
다텔라 담보텔라 시응어윈내로 대도비 따와탕 안에 따와 콤비 대우제 숨두가
And so its actual meaning is explained on the basis of these 3 points. The true state of base phenomena, the view that understands this true state, and the result of meditating on this view. So the true state of this base phenomena is this root verse. This basic constituent of pure nature has no previously existent faults of afflictive emotions to be removed, and not the least factor of good qualities to be newly established.
다 감음 semrang신지 남바 타밤 sem지랑신 여사와 니라 sem 팀에 타바디라 치망의 사월 차와 간사다 최지다도 준비 현유스나 랑신지 주바 현유당 아니 준비 현유당 님어 랑신지 주와 짱매데 디라사자 짱매
So in this naturally pure basic element, there is nothing to be removed. This means that the apprehended objects of the consciousness holding to true existence of self and phenomena, as well as afflictions existing by their own nature, do not exist as phenomena to be newly removed within the basic element. So the two objects apprehended by the self-grasping are, the self-grasping of a person and the self-grasping at the aggregates of the person.
강은 증경기 니모 라시지 주와 당번 라시지 주와다 아니 라시지 주와 토마메 반에 여만이 위치 토마네 주디 라시지 마주 못 주바라 말 여만이 위치.
So these two apprehended objects of the self-grasping and afflictions from the very outset, from the very beginning, did not exist by way of its own nature.
원디 다 가사당 풍보라서 저 강당 강인나양 저 강나양 양바 현양 양바 현바데 내루지 되라 kho와데 치지로도 저비 예주 대래 kho와데 아니 치지로도 저비 전도당 아니 된다요 전도티 그 강 진지 아니 요 랑신지 주와데 티 현유당 현유 대장신 주와 티 현유 대자와 대야 통통만에 안에 라신이마 주바 담바래.
So this is because the apprehended objects of the two types of holding to true existence, as well as afflictions existing by their own nature, have never been experienced as existing from the very beginning. This line teaches that no matter what is apprehended as truly existent, such an apprehension is a mistaken superimposition outside the truth of the actual state of being. And that the object of that apprehension has never existed.
니모라시지 주와쯤바 최기단지 이 매기시 다 최기단지 세계세니 뒤제라 양과라 니모라시지 주와세 샤고와의 가르레서나 코란로 거와 지와레 이 수도 샤바네 거와다 자오 세라.
So then the second part is there's a purpose for stating afflictions as for stating at this point of afflictions truly existent afflictions as being a mode of grasping at the self of phenomena. Although holding to the true existence of afflictions is included in holding to true existence of phenomena, there is a need to mention it separately.
안에 감 섬지 랑신지 주바 딜라 ngame sadu shaba ngare meba ga sadu ana khasa rashi ji majuba ki ane khasa ke dame jidang phonso rashi ji majuba ji dame ni wote ngare dame mayimba ane sadu dame ba shaya junsa ja yo amare se de la shaba chawa junsa ja me.
So this basic element, which previously did not exist by way of its own nature, then suddenly, designating it as being not existing by way of its own nature, like being newly placed, there is nothing like that, or it's not within the basic elements. There is nothing to be added in the sense of the two types of no self not being there previously and newly added later. So why is there nothing to be added later or like this? Is because the absence of the two types of self and phenomena is two types of self is the nature of the basic element.
Oh, not digi dameni wote kasada cheji dam dani mote kasore dame ba ni medo xiewa nelu ji ten lo ba xu yu kunde tang kasa ge dangjin dang cheji dangjin ji xian yu ga ba sa du xia ba cha ba ma yin ba dan ba re a thoma me ba na an le ra xin ji ma zhu bing wo na ma do sa du ra xin ji zhu ba ga ba tin de xian yu ga ba sa du xia ba ma yin ba dan ba re.
So these two selflessness of person, selflessness of phenomena, these two forms of selflessness was such since beginningless time. From a time without beginning, they did not exist by way of its own nature. It's not something like suddenly in the middle you're saying they do not exist by way of its own nature. This line teaches that to assert the two types of no self do not exist is a deprecation which misunderstands the true state of being. And the negation of the object of the apprehension is not something to be newly added.
아니 방자는 님보라 군대 대화래 시간 지당 트마사도 요 말에 아니 님보 지중 요 말에 시차바데 아니 방자로 구와대당 님보 지중에 봐 님보라 군대래 가자를 쳐봤으니까 쳐봐자가나 된다바 트마사도 매봐 된다바 님보 지중에 봐 오늘체 와 된다바 트마사도 매 라시지 집에 트마사도 매 라시드 집에 님보 지rum에 봐서 도시하고를 마도 아니 트마사도 매봐다 님보 지rum에 봐 아니 같이 찔러잖아 방에라 구와 때문에 방자 매봐다 님보 매봐가 아니 군도 주로 그래.
So not to understand the statements that there are no defilements to be removed and no antidotes to be developed in the context of the object to be refuted, but to hold them as general statements is to deprecate antidotes and the process of abandonment. So you can say that there is no no defilements to be removed in an absolute sense, in an ultimate way. There is no defilements to be removed that which exists by way of its own nature, that ultimately exists. That way you can say. And no antidotes to be developed that exists by way of its own nature or, that ultimately exists. That way, then you avoid the kind of the deprecation, to say it like this, in this manner, then you you contradict.
还说了，我呀，他刚把你娃长辈下把天你，出比团队家的养家，你们定住我的啥都没法出吧，我也啥都没法出吧那，你们定住我也啥都没法出吧那，你们定中我没啥都下吧，没法出吧我，定中我没定住我也啥都没法出的啥吧。你们定住我也把这啥都没把住吧那，你们定别当我听，我没啥都下都没把住吧，就把这个话，啊。
So and the next part is, moreover, the second line is a reiteration of what is taught by the first line, because of. If it is established that truly existing afflictions are not something that previously existed, truly existing afflictions are not something that previously exist and then become non-existent, it will also be established that emptiness of true existence of afflictions is not something that is previously non-existent and later become existent.
我他的几当你们前里，俺你让到我这个往头前来下巴的是，他前期当介入往头前呢，他怕加瓦这几呢，他忘了这个都呀。
So this is like in general explaining in general. Then in the second paragraph, then applying it to an example.
他前期的介入往头前呢。看啥他碰不的啦，定住我有啥话的想法，这样没白。看啥的碰不是，我是等把出发去起，俺你啥话的想法，这样没把印章，俺你看啥的碰不电动，天天比电把出版呐，碰不看啥碰不定的，天天电把出版呐。
So to apply them to actual examples, within this basic element, there is no self and no aggregates, formerly truly existing, and later removed.
出版呢，他定住都那样，那住了定住都那样，天了定白当把给，俺那那住当那是没定把给，俺你。怎么打不听？我们啥都下吧，就是讲没白，没法出白，让心去出白，当比听了，俺你恰恰他们在做吧，工作怎么出白的是，
So to apply them to actual example, within this basic, there is no self, no aggregates, formerly truly existing and later removed. This established the ultimate truth or emptiness of true existence. If that is established, then it is established that there is no emptiness of true existence in its false and illusion-like appearance, previously non-existing and later added or established. This establishes the conventional truth whereby all deed and activity is valid within this natural emptiness. So although there is the appearance of true existence, but in reality, then it is. In actuality, then it is empty of that true existence, and as such, then you have all the functions of the conventionalities.
我呀，他团队呢，刚才团队呢，真正的目的确实就是讲马要比电动团团点不汤。真正的目的确实就是讲嘛，把真正的目的的定住，啊，定住目的确实就是讲没把给，俺你点把出发给，就是讲没把给，俺你电动团团点不汤，点把没讲，俺你确实给那些他们家让路了开浪白错白。
So there isn't the slightest existence of the focal object of a grasping at true existence, and so there isn't any object that is a focal object for the, that focal does not exist in the slightest bit, the grasping at true existence objects, and so it is empty of that true existence, and that is the ultimate truth. To summarize, these two lines teach the union of the two truths accepted without problem in our tradition, and which comprise the ultimate truth, or emptiness of true existence, in which the focus of holding to true existence has no place at all, and the conventional truth of the valid presentation of deeds and activities.
因此，남주告诉，康熙宽带圈呢，他们这些军人那样，如果没同心，没必得说康人关系吧，天天三节级别咱们那修，是没必得说康人关系吧，是的，他的天的呢，连着级没得他们这军事讲没把给没得西的，没得的，等把出发的西的，俺那电动团他们西把到那，俺那电动团他把到还把的。 没必康熙宽带圈呢，他们这些军人那样，我这没必得说康人关系吧？他两把主啊，当把咱们马赛，俺那没必得说西把咱们台啦，俺那局长这比前些那么下，他们这让路来台吧，交通吧得啦。 康熙宽带圈呢，他们这些军人那边如果没同心，没必得说康人关系吧，天天叫我这边咱们修，谁什么当班就天他我那产业就到位，俺咱们修吧的，剩下的叫我这边咱们，到我人家叫我这边咱们的，
So taking some lines from the three principal aspects of path, this particular prayer, when all of the objects of our grasping at true existence, when those objects dissipate, when those focal objects of holding on to, when those objects that are the focus of the grasping at true existence, when they kind of dissipate, when they disappear, then one has, entered into the path that which pleases all of the conquerors. And prior to the,
康熙宽带圈呢，他们这些军人那边如果没同心，或者夸张，
seeing the infallible mode of cause and effect of samsara and nirvana, in which all of the focal objects of the grasping and true existence has disappeared, then one has entered into a path that which pleases the conquerors. So, although the objects of the focal objects of the grasping at true existence has self-destructed or has dissipated, yet yet there is the functioning of all application of all of the cause and effect. Questions? Any questions? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Oh God. Mm. 198, which one?
Yeah, perception by constant meditative placement.
Yeah.
So that sort of confuses me on a number of different levels in terms of what's I'm confused between the emptiness of the mind and the pure light nature of the mind. I mean, it seems to me that I thought in the completion stages of Tantra, people could have meditative stabilization on the pure light nature of the mind. And likewise, where do you fit in terms of meditation?
Your question is like so like a spider's web. Krangi toward the Tanda Sangege Nyamchak Jora, Sange Di Nyamchak di College Shake to Yang, Simgiran Shiva Savake Kota di Tongba Jatan di culture. Towards di and the Chachin Gombal Tena and the Kandesia to be met to Sitkanga, toward that the Mombush Tumta. And you have to sort of separate all your questions and give me one by one.
Maybe you say 2 sentences and then you can translate, and then 2 sentences and you can translate. That's possible.
What's your first question?
Well, I thought there were many different ways that non-Buddhists could have meditative placement on the nature of the mind.
Are you talking about just mere placement of the mind or constant placement of the mind, meditative placement? Are you talking about just, occasionally have?
Well, yeah.
There's a difference between constant and occasionally, not being constant. So,
Okay.
because constant refers only to a Buddha's mind.
So it's not saying that periodic meditation.
No. When they use in this context constant, you're referring to a Buddha's mind of equipoise, because the Buddha's mind is not without equipoise, so it's constant.
So then the other part of my question is just, what is the relationship between the emptiness of the mind and the pure light nature of the mind?
Semgi tengi toni da semgi ranchu hasa wala dinini la keba khari yoresa.
Semji Rashi Yosawa said the Kansa, Semji Rashi la Timeleba Mashuas.
When we talk about the clear light nature of the mind, means that the defilements do not exist in the nature of the mind.
In Semji Rashi la Timen Lashba Mashuba is a Semrashi Timen number tabares. Timen number tabade, that Semji Chini is, Tig of Timadi, Lubuji Timala Mashabache, Rashi Tuma, Rashi Tua.
So when we talk about, that defilements do not exist in the nature of the mind, this defilements that we are referring to here is not the adventitious defilements. No, we're not talking about when we talk about that defilements do not exist in the nature of the mind, which is the suchness of the mind. We are not referring to that. That it is not. We are not talking about the adventitious defilements. We are talking about the mind's natural state of purity. So, the Ranshinerik Sgorvesa.
Congo.
The Ranshinerik Vesa.
Oh, some Rashi don't be only the Rashi.
The emptiness of the mind.
The
emptiness of the mind is that some Ranshingi Tomba.
Rashi Tomba de Ranshinerik. Some good
the suchness of the mind, or the mind being empty by way of its own nature, is the naturally abiding lineage.
Is that the same thing Morgan was asking about the clear light nature?
And Simgiranshi Hursawa de Hwajagoresa.
That's similar. Simji Rashi la Timeleba Mashuba, Sim Kora Deba Matuba Yinzang, Rashi la Timeleba Mashubares.
When we talk about the nature of the mind being clear light, it is referring to the
Rangshi
referring to the suchness of the mind itself.
Ultimate truth, is that
Simgi chuni di mar
clear light?
simgi ranshi ho sawa de tandam de marvesa. Simgi ranshi ho sawa de tandam de marves. Yes, it is emptiness. When we talk about the mind being empty, by nature, by nature pure. When we talk of the mind, by natural purity of the mind, it means emptiness, the natural purity. The natural purity of the mind is emptiness.
What's the relationship between that and the so-called clear and knowing?
The sim renshi number tapata the sim clear selching repas the condition. As clear and knowing is just the mind itself. Just the mind itself.
So that's conventional.
Conventional. Yes, conventional. It's just the nature of the mind. The clear and knowing. Okay, any further you want to go? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Sorry.
Something along the same line. When we talk about purity, is that in relation to Swabhava Kaya?
답안이된데 화셔거려서.
답안이된데 다시 가상 와서 쉬어나시. 랑시지 치면 나봐 답아. 루부지 치면 나봐 답아.
The two purities referred to the natural purity and the purity from the adventitious defilements is the two purities.
다 랑시지 치마데 샘등으로 샘 좁잡니네. 랑시지 치면 나봐 답아고 뭐 주바래.
The moment our mind is established, it has that first purity of natural purity.
다 되니 루부지 치면 나봐 타요. 뭐 루부지 치마다 째요 와래.
The moment a mind exists, it exists in that nature of natural purity, but it does not have the purity from adventitious defilements.
다 루부지 치마데 샘지 춘이 라시지 타바데 또비 아니 이시에 타당 제대 권배 아니 루부지 치마 치중지 손다 타를 아니 산제기 이시 타바나 샘귀 루트마다 루부트마 제와다 트마 차다 타도 가거나 아니 루부 남다디 신이 연구하래.
So the purity of the adventitious defilements comes due to realizing the dharmadhatu of the mind, the reality of the mind, the suchness of the mind, that natural purity. And when one meditates on this over and over again, conjoined with the method, then those adventitious defilements become less and less and less, and eventually then it is totally purified of those adventitious defilements when one actualizes the exalted knower of a Buddha.
semjeng cheji cheni di chima cheta do sone tar ane sanje ju komba tobana cheni de ani tabani denji in tadu sir goteng lubuji chima da ani raji ji chima ni den yiga da tabagi ani cheni di indikana mo nigu tabani denji in tadu sir tadu songwa resi.
So when the suchness with defilements when the suchness with defilements then become less and less and less, then eventually then one attains the state of Buddhahood, which has the state of these two purities, the purity of the natural defilements and the purity of the purity from the adventitious defilements.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
May I
Yeah, go ahead.
follow up to clarify? It sounds like the first purity is referring to the Swabhavakaya. It is uncompacted.
Ranshing time number tabade ngoni kurvesa. Ranshing time
Ranshing time number ngoni ma tenga ram jila yoarwa.
Ranshing time number tabade. It's ranshing number tabade.
Ranshing time number tabade ranshing denru yimba. Chima ranshing time number denru.
Being purified of the natural defilements means, the natural defilements exist in us. See that again. This natural purity doesn't mean swabhakaya, because in our state we have that natural purity.
And then the second purity, does that then refers to what? Our mind, our defilement?
Second purity refers to the defilement from the adventitious defilements.
Yeah, purity from the pure of all those defilements, that second purity. That is referring to what exactly?
And lubugi time number tabade koala jaguresa.
제가 루부 temate 루부지 temate 차단 모습 뒤서 채. 대다 참 자원에 타바데 차단 모습 바자다 제와 타바데 심데 다 말아서 소소 심정이 내가래 요 말이. 심정이 심 루부기 tem에 자주 희원하지 제다도 송은데 타르상제 토바나 심데 나바타리 준비시고 오죠. 샘기 천이데 안에 타바닌데 이거 오죠 말이.
So, the adventitious defilements that exist in us as ordinary sentient beings due to our, desire, anger, ignorance, and so forth, and when they become purified, our mind becomes an enlightened mind, and the suchness of this enlightened mind becomes of the nature of the two purities.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
One question is the two knowledges of the Buddha, the gnosis that understands things as they are, and the gnosis that understands the diversity of things. Both of those are part of the gnosis dharmakaya.
The Jitawada Jiniba Nicha Kembe Ishijora.
지다워다 지내요.
Jitawada
지다워다 지내봐.
Kembe
이거 김 지다워다 지내시.
Kembe Ishid Nicha, the Ishichuku.
이쇼구래.
Yes, it is.
이쇼구래.
But in the text this morning, it said about how
다
gnosis that understands
고소.
the diversity of things is coming from the collection.
Of merit, yeah. The Kasata Kasu Tangi Tanshuge Gengi Sumba de Tanda Kanda Sunamgi Sole Chungwa Reshas that Kasar de Chiniba Kembe.
네. 지당 지다와다 지내와 침비 최 이시잖아. 이시초구라 샤고래. 추구라 샤고래. 단데 네가 다랑실 쉬어인 봐. 소남고 초그 캬바도 챤네 샤바 인장 코라 수구두지 그 뒤 캬바도 챤네 샤바 인장 안에 코라 가소래 지입을 집에 쳐야 돼 소남고 초라마 샤바를 마도 제 지다바다 진짜 집에 쳐니가 이시 주고 샤고 그랬어.
Both of the two noses, knowing conventionalities, the diversities, and doing knowing the ultimate nature, exactly as they are. Both of those two noses are the gnosis of a gnosis Dharmakaya, exalted wisdom Dharmakaya. But from the perspective of the type of merits that create the imprints for truth body and form body, then from the perspective of the accumulation of merit, then you distinguish the accumulation of a merit of virtue as being the one that contributes towards that Dharmakaya, which is the realization of all the varieties of phenomena.
아니 이시다 수구당 진여바 진비 이시의 수구도 지금 주요 인장 아니 두시자르스 와 이시 진여바 진비 이시더라 꾸저 장주 그 삼당 양지 전보라서 와서 강가 수구도 지금 주고 말이 이제 이시 주고를 해서나 산재법의 주지 군저섬이 장주 삼당 주지 이시 주고를 해서나 주고를 해서나 주고래 그래서
So when we accumulate the causes for the truth body and the form body of the Buddha, then you have the accumulations of the merit of transcendental wisdom for the truth body and the accumulation of merit of virtue for the form body. But all of those merit of the method, such as the compassion, the bodhicitta, all of these which are usually regarded as the method, that that bodhicitta, that compassion that exists within the continuum of an Arya Buddha. If you ask, is this the Dharmakaya, you would have to say it is the Dharmakaya of the Buddha.
지다와다 칭예바라 되되 스바타두비 켐바 이시 적응오 지다와다 칭예바라 되되 스바타두비 켐바더라.
So when we define what is the characteristic of the Gnosis Dharmakaya, then we say that it is that ultimate knowing ultimate truths and conventional truths, knowing exactly and knowing all the varieties of phenomena. Ultimately, is the ultimate seeing of it, the ultimate the completely seeing of all of this.
Oh yeah,
Attention namgar chenle chochur ke batan
losan dembe dreme sason je droye mese da do ne juje jamba ba yue je da jamba da kundu sambot je da kunji je so da lo je ge wan de da tam je ra dong o je son je ve ja wa tam je yin o
kala chodong ba de
ai ge ve sa wa de kun ja
sambo che che ra dong wa ra ji